You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports 2. Well, I don't normally make this kind of video on this channel, but this is sort of walking the line between the bigger sports channel and this channel. And I wanted to cover it. I don't know that it's got enough steam for the bigger channel. We do a little bit more controversial stuff over there, right? But this does involve the cocaine cowboy, John Skipper. That's right. The former head of ESPN, the worldwide leader in woke, and he was the chief principal in driving ESPN off the woke ledge prior to the George Floyd incident. That's right. They went ultra woke and created what everybody deemed at one time Woke Center with Jamel Hill and Michael Smith. Their flagship primetime, 6 p.m. Sports Center, they turned over to them. They started doing a bunch of social justice topics, and the ratings plummeted right off a cliff. And then John Skipper got fired because, or I should say, he was allowed to resign because it was about to come out that he had a massive cocaine habit. Yeah, and had for a while, and his dealer was about to expose him. So, John Skipper's now over running a new sports media property. I say new. It's been around about 2 years now with Dan Lebitard called Meadowlark Media. I think even Jamel Hill's got something going on over there. Perfect, conglomerate of assholes, merry woke assholes all in one place. Stay there. So, John Skipper ruined ESPN, and now he's got a great idea on how to ruin the Super Bowl. Yeah, this is one of the worst ideas I have ever heard. It's arguably the worst idea I have ever heard. But John Skipper wants to turn the Super Bowl into a pay-per-view event. That's right, where you order it a la WrestleMania. But to be honest with you, I mean, I've got a Peacock on streaming, so I actually can just watch wrestling events now if they're WWE related. So he wants to make the Super Bowl a pay-per-view event. It's got to be one of the weirdest, dumbest, most elitist, disconnected ideas I've ever seen from the everyday person. Right as so many people, and look, this is I don't know if a lot of people realize this or not, but there is a growing movement to cord cut everything. Okay, and what I mean by that is there is a large amount of people that are going back to antennas. That's right, the old school antenna. Why? For example, I've got Sling TV, a streaming service, but even we, now that football is over, we're talking about getting rid of a lot of it and just going to antenna. Why? Because even here in rural Texas, I put the antenna in, I let it run through a channel search, and I promptly got like 45 channels. And they're all free. I mean, it's people are becoming more aware of what they're spending their money on. I mean, this is some pure liberal bullshit, global elitist garbage to be disconnected from the everyday person. John Skipper is the proud owner of one of the dumbest ideas in Super Bowl NFL history. The former ESPN boss, who famously left the network after a cocaine extortion scandal, isn't exactly known for being a genius. I'm going to tell you what's odd about John Skipper. He did a pretty good job of running ESPN for about a decade, and then the wheels fell completely off. I don't know if that's when the coke habit came on or what. I mean, it does kind of have this crackhead feel to it. It does. In fact, under his watch, ESPN turned into a cesspool of liberal political garbage. It's been more than 5 years since Skipper left ESPN, and the network still hasn't recovered from the fall he oversaw. No, they have not recovered. Their ratings are still straight trash, homie. In case you're wondering whether his ideas since have gotten better, they haven't. He now has an all-time dumb suggestion. make the Super Bowl a pay-per-view event. And guys, we're not talking about $49.95 here either. All right? I mean, your damn jaw is going to drop off, hit the floor, and then your jaw is going to roll out of your house into traffic and get run over by a car. It's unbelievable. John Skipper suggests the Super Bowl should embrace a pay-per-view model. Quote, I assume that there are some number of people that's the only game they've watched all year and they don't want to be left out. That's a pretty great place to be for a live event. 50% of the country does not want to be left out. It leads me to a slightly different discussion. If half the country is watching your game and they're watching it for free, how many of those people would pay a big sum of money to watch the game? Skipper explained and speculated on the Big Suey podcast. I don't know what that is. It's retarded. There it is. I said it. I put it out there. Cancel me. Quote, if you just assume that half of the people watched would still figure out a way to watch if it cost $200 to $250 for a household, you're just going to have more of what David said, bigger parties. I don't know how many households. I assume it's half the households who watch. If it was only a quarter of them that are willing to pay $20 to have a party at their house, it would still get you into the billions of dollars for a single game, and that is the single best way I can think of for the NFL to increase their annual revenue take for their clubs, is to make the Super Bowl a pay-per-view event. John Skipper further elaborated when talking about a possible price structure. Yes, these are real suggestions from a person you're supposed to believe understands sports. And, you know, this is David Hookstead over at Outkick, and he goes on to, as you can imagine, obliterate everything about this idea and blast it into oblivion. So we're in a day and time where eggs are like $8 a damn carton or something ridiculous like that. Gas has skyrocketed back up, and this fucking douchebag believes that America should jump out there and would want to pay $200 to $250 for the Super Bowl. Do you understand that I cover sports for a living and get paid nicely for it? And he would get hit with the double middle finger Stone Cold Steve Austin stunner to the face hole. I would never pay $250 for the Super Bowl. Bitch, it will be the one game a year I won't watch. I mean, it is absurd. I wouldn't pay it out of pure principle. And this idea that everybody automatically goes into this, we're all having a party to watch the Super Bowl. No, my 76-year-old mother sat at her house and watched the Super Bowl. We sat here, me and my wife sat on our bed because we've got a TV mounted above the bed and watched the Super Bowl. There was no party going on. My son was in his room watching his TV. Not everybody that consumes the Super Bowl is doing it by way of a party. To my knowledge, John Matrix did not have a party either for the Super Bowl. Yes, I can remember having Super Bowl parties in my late 20s into like my mid-30s. But as 47 now, next day is a school day. Okay? Kid goes back to school. I mean, it's a regular school day, even if it is Super Bowl and people have to be responsible and go back to work. This is one of the dumbest ideas in the history of all ideas. And this idea that half the country, no, there's 60 million people in this country, and 118 million or something like that watched. How many millions of people is that did not watch? I mean, this is one of the dumbest ideas. I have to wonder, before he went on the Big Suey, did he literally do lines? I mean, did that happen? Did he snort cocaine before getting on the podcast to talk about the Super Bowl? I'm floored. This is one of the craziest, most disconnected from the everyday common person takes I've ever heard from anybody involved with sports. This guy used to run ESPN. No surprise, he sent it straight to hell. You've heard of that Evil Dead movie, or whatever that movie that was almost like Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell? He drug ESPN to hell. This is the worst idea ever. Tell me what you think about this global elitist, John Skipper, believing that the Super Bowl should be a pay-per-view event. The fuck? I cussed in this video more because I'm stuck between baffled and pissed all at the same time. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.